Hey folks, welcome back to Biz Talk. Great to have you here. My name is Rick Gutierrez. I am your host and your business advocate. It is an honor and pleasure to be every single week here with you. We've got an amazing cast of business professionals, business owners, and service people that are going to be joining us today, and we're going to be having great conversations. Remember, this is a place where these business owners have a ton of experience, and they're going to be shedding light on some insights, tricks, tips on everything that has to do with business. And so with that being said, we want to bring on board the very first guest, who happens to be a very special guest, and we're happy to have her. We're happy to have the presence of her here because she's going to enlighten us a little bit about FEMA and all of the great work that she's doing. So Hops, welcome to the show. We appreciate you being here. We hear nothing but great things about what you guys are doing, so thank you for being here.
Thank you for this opportunity, Rick. I'm happy to share this information with you and with the awesome amount of business people that we have here in the Houston, Texas area. We think this information may be useful to not only them, but most importantly to their employees.
Awesome. Thank you so much. We definitely do appreciate all the hard work that you guys are doing. You guys are of service to the public, so that, heads off to you guys for all the great work that you guys are doing, and coming here and, shedding some more lights over the great work that you guys are doing. So let's get started with a very particular question that comes out, just right off the bat. There are certain things that CEOs and business owners, business people, things they can do to help with the disaster recovery process. Can you shed a little bit of light as to what CEOs and business owners can do to help with that disaster recovery?
That's a great question. Good job for you, Rick. Listen, there's a lot that we think that CEOs and business people can do to directly impact what's going on with the disaster recovery. Now, remember, this is all premised on the fact that not only was there one disaster that took place here in Texas, there were several tornadoes that impacted this whole state. With that being said, business owners have employees and probably staff members that were impacted by this event. And they're thinking, oh my, we're overwhelmed. What can we do to help so many people? It's very simple. Take this information, be proactive and find out about the FEMA news releases. Post that information on your website, in your offices, in the lunchrooms and cafeterias of your businesses. And that way you are giving your staff members and employees information and resources along with tools that can help with your disaster recovery. And we are specialists in disaster recovery.
Well, I think one of the key words that I heard you mention, I heard everything, which was amazing, but one key word was being proactive. And there's nothing more than being proactive when it comes to, business disaster recovery, because everyone is going to want to get back on track right away whenever there's a disaster, and want to get their doors open again as quickly as possible. And you guys are there to do just that. So we appreciate you sharing some light on that. One of the other things that, just to kind of get folks a little bit more familiar with FEMA, tell us a little bit about FEMA and how long it's been since it was established and things like that.
You're spot on. I love your questions, Rick. Let's start with how long FEMA has been around. FEMA's been helping with disaster recovery efforts ever since 1979. Started under the President Jimmy Carter's presidency in 1979. And the wonderful thing about it is since then, we've had an opportunity to learn from the public, to learn from our outreach efforts, what worked well, what didn't work well. And our goal is to capitalize on that and to make sure that we specialize in getting it better. The wonderful thing about it is this disaster, we were able to roll out a new program, which helps both. There are people that have been impacted by this disaster that have insurance. And eventually they learned that their insurances may not have necessarily covered all of their damages. FEMA's for you. And the wonderful thing about it is all you have to do is either call 1-800-621-3362 or use your laptop, your smartphone, or a tablet and learn more about it, or go to disasterassistance.gov or go to one of our many. We have over 30 disaster recovery centers that are open right now. And this is how we can help you. If you find out that you have insurance and there are certain parts of your damage that is not covered, Bring that information with you to the Disaster Recovery Center or share that information with us. And we may be able to help you make sure that you get what's called a cash grant. This is money that you do not need to repay. It'll just simply help you with your disaster recovery and give you a leg up in that process. And then there are those who have no resources, no money, and they're, believe it or not, still trying to figure things out. And what you can do is the same thing. Get a hold of FEMA. We can help you by making sure that what's called a serious needs assistance program resource is made available to you. This is money that we give you with no questions asked. You can use that money to help if you need a hotel for a few nights, if you're living at your relative's home and they're getting after you a bit and you just need to put that money in their pocket to keep them quiet until you figure things out, use that money for that resource. For baby, if not for baby, maybe for yourself and personal hygiene, whatever the case may be. Again, this is called a serious needs assistance um, program, and this will help people that just needs a resource to just start with their disaster recovery efforts.
Fantastic. Now, Hobbs, one of the other questions that came up, that, you know, FEMA's been around for many decades, and you guys have helped many business owners, many families throughout those decades. But you yourself, you've been in with FEMA for a little bit over 7 years now. What are some of the most common or significant challenges that you've seen where business owners could basically help themselves during the process of that disaster recovery? Because I know that some are protected with insurance and some don't have, but there's got to be some common challenges that you've seen that you can maybe shed some light on to help those business owners that are watching us right now.
Let us help you. The problem for FEMA is that we are not the problem, if that makes any sense. The disaster is the problem. We are the solution for those who have insurance, for those who don't have insurance, and for those who don't know what they have. We are part of your solution process to disaster recovery. Let us help you. Call 1 800 621 3362 and just ask questions. Or go to disasterassistance.gov. Now, I'm going to lay out some information here that I think may be useful, Rick. Let me break it down for you. We can help you if you need to rebuild. We can help you if you need disaster recovery in the sense that you need medication. We can help you if you are self-employed. While we're talking about CEOs and business people, there are some people that are just getting their business off and are just established as being self-employed. They may have even lost tools or very significant pieces of their platform in order to do their work. And if that just so happens to have been impacted by any of the disaster events that took place from April, mid-April up until about June 5th, you could probably become eligible to utilize disaster assistance in that recovery effort. So if you are a business owner, if you are just becoming self-employed, if you've lost tools, there's some other things, and I'll try to be as calming as I can about when I present this information. We even help people with funeral expenses.
Wow, that is.
If you find yourself in a situation, you've got circumstances where if you have medical expenses, if you are in a situation where you need to put your items in storage, if you need to move, FEMA can find a way to make sure that these resources are available for you. Now, all of this is incumbent on you doing some work. You have to complete the application. You have to prove that you are who you say you are and that the place that you inhabited has incurred serious damage. If it's your home and you have insurance, bring that information with you. If it's your home and you don't have insurance, we don't care. Bring that information or the lack of thereof with you. Let's work on disaster recovery together. That's our goal. The last thing that I'll say to you is this. We don't care if you have back taxes. And since this is a business oriented show, it's important that we focus on the fact that businesses' bylines are not necessarily the same that others live by financially. We get that. But for the business person, I also want to let you know that we have what's called small business administrative support that's available. This is a team that anytime FEMA comes to town to help with disaster recovery, so does the Small Business Administrative Team. Now, there's two things I want to say really quickly about this. The Small Business Administrative Team helps businesses. They help CEOs for small businesses that may need help with getting their businesses back online after the disaster. But they also help homeowners and renters.
That is fantastic. You know, all of this information is valuable information for everyone watching, because most of the times, to be completely honest, Hobbs, you know, when we think of FEMA, we think of a 1-800 number and not really putting a face to the name of someone who, you know, is giving us, you know, accurate, up-to-date information. So we want to thank you so much for being here today. We've got about 30 seconds left on the show. Any last thoughts that you might just want to tell the public, you know, other than what you've already mentioned?
FEMA has provided over $129 million in disaster assistance thus far. We hear people a lot of times say, well, I don't want to help your help because somebody else may need it more. I want to encourage you that if you have damage, to please consider applying with FEMA. And then the last thing I want you to know is that the deadline to apply, which has been established, it's July 16th. So we have over 30 disaster recovery centers open. That's an opportunity for you to walk in and talk to someone. And lastly, I'll leave you with the 1-800 number, 1-800-621-3362. Give us a chance to help you in your disaster recovery. That's what we're here for.
Awesome.
At the request of the state of Texas. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Hobbs. We definitely do appreciate you stopping by the show and enlighten us with amazing content. We hope that this is not the last time. We hope to see you again and provide us with additional great information. So thank you for being here. Folks, that is it for this particular segment right here. We'll stay right there. We'll be right back.
Are you nearly maxed out on your credit cards? It doesn't matter if you're using your credit cards for fun or to survive. At the end of the month, your statements come in, and you can either pay them or you can't. If you can't, late fees and interest rates get tacked on. And now you're struggling just to make the minimum payment due. Do you feel trapped? Am I talking to you? Good, because I personally researched some companies that can help you. They may be able to reduce your credit card balances by 50% and stop the late fees. If you qualify, please call our special debt hotline number right now for a complimentary free 5-minute consultation. Deal with your credit card problem now before it gets much worse and put more money back in your pocket. Trust me, I've been there too. Call right now.
Call 855-993-2096 right now. That's 855-993-2096.
Do you have diabetes? If you have insurance, you may qualify for a new continuous glucose monitor. With a CGM, you can continuously track your levels and trends, spend more time in range, significantly lower your A1C, and share important data with loved ones and caregivers. Most importantly, a CGM eliminates the one thing most people with diabetes hate: painful finger sticks. Take charge of your health. Order your new continuous glucose monitor today. If you use insulin and have seen your diabetes care provider within the last 6 months, you may qualify for a CGM today. We'll do all the insurance paperwork and deliver your new CGM at little or no out-of-pocket cost to you. Medicare and most insurances cover continuous glucose monitors, so don't wait. Have your insurance handy and call the CGM Health Hotline now.
If you're on supplemental oxygen, heavy and awkward tanks can be a burden. Now you can leave home and leave the tanks behind with Inogen, portable oxygen therapy that moves with you.
With my Inogen, now I'm able to do the things that I've always loved. I just press the button here, and there's my oxygen.
Inogen systems are so small and light, you're free to leave the house without the hassles of an oxygen tank.
I could play golf again. I could go grocery shopping. I'm free again.
With the Inogen, I can handle my own oxygen. I can carry my own oxygen. I go anywhere with this. Look how small it is.
And right now, you can try an Inogen portable oxygen system for 30 days risk-free. Call us right now. If you qualify, we'll send you an Inogen system to use for 30 days risk-free. Your insurance may even cover your new Inogen system.
If you're on oxygen, you need to be using an Inogen.
Call 800-367-1753. That's 800-367-1753.
Hey folks, welcome back to Biz Talks. Thank you for joining us. We are back with another expert that's going to be sharing amazing information with us so that we can continue to grow our businesses and grow ourselves and continue to help our clients the right way. In this particular topic, we're going to be talking about tax law, and I've got none else than my good friend, Mr. John Mitchell. Welcome back to the show, sir.
Hey, Rick, how's it going, man? I am so happy to be here. I'm pleased. I'm overjoyed, as always, to be with you. It's so welcoming, you guys over there, and happy to be with the audience and give some good information.
Awesome. Well, we appreciate you stopping by every single time, even in times when you are on the road. You're on the road to Dallas, Texas, and what's a better way to be remote to just pull over and be able to do an interview so that we can continue to educate our clients and our audience as well. So thank you for being here. We certainly do appreciate you. What do you say we talk a little bit about some tax strategies?
Man, that sounds great.
I think you know a little bit about that, if I'm not mistaken. But with your extensive experience in the federal tax practice, you have recently, there's been so many changes here recently, that impact your clients, and you've put some strategies into place for them, and you've helped them along the way. Tell us a little bit about that. I mean, what's your process when a client comes to you and they say, John, I need your help, something's going on? I mean, what's your first step of, what's your first thing that you do?
The first thing is, Rick, I have to be, kind of getting prepared before the client even knows my name, before they even dial me up, because, I got to be ready when the time comes. I got to be here. So the first thing is always be, constantly learning, constantly renewing my knowledge, constantly updating, because as you know, tax law changes all the time. And so that's the very first thing. And then also very important, as soon as the client rings me up and says I get a client usually one of two things, right? Either number one, they've already stepped off in it and they need help to, fix a problem, or they are about to do something, change of business ownership or whatever, and they're trying to make sure that they do it right, so that, be proactive and make sure that they don't have a problem. And so that's usually the two kind of phone calls I get. And the very first thing I do, how when you go to the doctor's office, Rick, and you say, I feel a little faint, I feel some fever, I feel something coming on, whatever it may be. And you say, well, you go to the doctor, and the doctor, what do they do? The first things, or what do? They send you to go get some lab tests done. That way they can diagnose what's up and, know how to move forward, right? Because if you look at a map, right? If I were to take off driving somewhere and say, I want to get to point X, right? Well, I got to know where I am on the map before I can plot a course to go where I need to be, right? So the very first thing I do when any client contacts me is I will do a kind of a deep dive diagnostic, right? Try saying that fast 5 times, right? A deep dive diagnostic. So I try and dive in. If they've already got a problem, I call the IRS, I get a compliance check, and I kind of figure out where things stand. I get some printouts of their tax returns, and then that kind of helps me to know how to proceed, right? Where to go from here. And the other thing is, if they've got, they've got a situation coming up that they're trying to avoid any kind of problems, well, then what I would do is I would, sit down with them for a good long time, 30, 45 minutes, maybe an hour, and figure out, okay, what's the situation? What kind of entity do you have? What's your tax elections that you've made, et cetera, so I can figure out how that we're going to proceed and make sure that we get them the best result that we can possibly get them. So that's, number one, just kind of dive in and diagnose things.
Absolutely. I mean, that goes to any industry, right? I mean, you can't take a car to a mechanic and say, it's doing this and this. They have to first, plug it all in and see what it's doing and not doing to figure out what's going on. And your example of, the doctor, they also have to do the exact same thing. So a tax attorney has to do the exact same thing. You need to take care of, take a look at all of the documents and all of the filings to see where you're at and what it is that you need. So amazing things, and I have no doubt that John over at Cantrell and Cantrell can take care of you guys. So John, you've been over at Cantrell and Cantrell for many years and often have dealt with complex IRS examinations and appeals. Let's share a little bit of details, particularly a challenging case, perhaps within the last year, and how you approached that case and how you were able to find a favorable outcome for the client.
Yeah, the thing that comes to mind is I had a case a while back where it was a kind of a construction contractor type company, and what they had, as most of these companies do, all of them, as far as I can ever tell, they have folks working for them getting 1099s, right? You got to be careful with that because if you have people working for you, you got workers and they're misclassified, and the IRS audits you and makes a determination that those are misclassified, it can run very quickly into the tens and hundreds of thousands of dollars. Because what they'll do is they'll say, well, you should have had this person on a W-2 for all this time. So we're going to go back 3 years for all your employees, and we're going to charge you, payroll taxes that you should have withheld from their checks for all the 3 years, right? And that adds up pretty quickly. And you, by law, cannot go back and try and recoup that money. You cannot come then to the employee and say, well, now that you're W-2 by the IRS's standards, go back and pay me your payroll taxes for the past 3 years. Company has to eat that. And so I had a case, a couple of years, a little while back. It was about maybe a year and a half ago or so. And, there were dozens upon dozens, upwards of almost 100 people that were going to be reclassified. And, we really had to fight that out and, tooth and nail with the IRS. They flew some manager in from Los Angeles and said, we're going to, really, can we work something out? No, we can't make a deal with you on this, John. We got too much invested in this. And that's not necessarily what you want to hear, but we ended up getting a good result for them. So it's you just gotta sometimes strap on those gloves and climb in the ring.
Absolutely, and that's one thing that you guys have been doing for many years, helping your clients and many business owners in the around even in Mexico. Because I'm not mistaken, you guys can do tax law internationally, right?
Yeah, I'm a licensed attorney in Mexico as well. So if I got Mexican issues, we can work on that as well. Yes, sir.
Not every tax attorney has that capability, so I wanted to mention that and highlight there for a minute. Here recently, the increase in scrutiny on tax practices, many business owners make some, for you, would be common mistakes within their business, and those common mistakes could potentially trigger an audit, right? So how can they proactively address these issues to ensure that they are always in compliance and avoid any penalties?
Well, one of the things to do is to be kind of diligent. One of the mistakes I see people make quite a bit is to commingle. They say, well, it's my business, and so I'm going to pay, personal expenses out of the business. Man, that makes it really messy and makes it hard to justify business expenses if you have not been properly keeping track of that along the way. And so if you've got an entity, LLC, corporation, whatever it may be, you want to have your business bank account and your personal bank account. And you want to kind of be disciplined as best you can. Understand that life gets in the way, right? But you want to make sure that you are taking compensation out of that, deposit it to your, ideally, if you have a corporation or LLC, you run the business and the business's income and expenses are all run through that business bank account. And then you pay yourself out of that, whatever it's going to be. And that goes in your personal account, and all your personal expenses go out of that. So I would say, big thing is not commingling. And really, tied into that is the IRS is going to have a big focus now on reasonable compensation. So if you've got a corporation and you've made an S corp election, right? It's not really proper. The law requires you, in fact, to take a reasonable compensation for that. And the IRS has been kind of lax on that for a few years now. But if you remember the Inflation Reduction Act, they got the that big slug of money from Congress. It was supposed to be 80 billion, but it's gone down a little bit since then. They've whittled down at it. But certainly that's going to be one of their areas that they're about to focus on. So if you have a corporation and you work for your business and you're not drawing a salary, that can be a big problem that you can face.
Absolutely. So it's something that is of crucial to kind of make sure that the business owners are tracking everything correctly and not commingling, as you mentioned. That's the reason why. And if we do, for whatever reason, that is the reason why we know John Mitchell over at Cantrell & Cantrell. John, it's always a pleasure to have you, bud. Thank you for stopping by on the road. It's always an amazing time, and we have a great conversation. We wish you safe travels, and let us know you made it there safely. So stay right there, folks. We're going to take a quick commercial break. We'll be back with another expert.
Taking a trip in the next 12 months? Airlines are under tremendous pressure, and they're practically giving away their unsold seats. Like every crisis, this one will end too. But right now is the best time to take advantage of giveaway ticket prices on their unsold seats. We're not allowed to publish these low fares online. The only way to get these rock-bottom giveaway prices is to call. So phone low-cost airlines now for airline ticket prices you may never see again. Are you nearly maxed out on your credit cards? It doesn't matter if you're using your credit cards for fun or to survive. At the end of the month, your statements come in, and you can either pay them or you can't. If you can't, late fees and interest rates get tacked on. And now you're struggling just to make the minimum payment due. Do you feel trapped? Am I talking to you? Good, because I personally researched some companies that can help you. They may be able to reduce your credit card balances by 50% and stop the late fees. If you qualify, please call our special debt hotline number right now for a complimentary free 5-minute consultation. Deal with your credit card problem now before it gets much worse and put more money back in your pocket. Trust me, I've been there too. Call right now.
Call 855-993-2096 right now. That's 855-993-2096.
If you're living with diabetes and using insulin, you know the pain of pricking your fingers over and over again. By wearing a small device called a continuous glucose monitor, or CGM, you can reduce the pain of pricking your fingers right away. If you use insulin daily, you might be eligible to get your own continuous glucose monitor. So call the US Med Diabetic Health Hotline today and learn about the latest CGM technology. Not only can a CGM immediately reduce pain, it's accurate, easy to use, and helps you make better diabetes treatment decisions. And if you have Medicare or private insurance, you can see if you qualify for a CGM at little or no out-of-pocket cost. We'll also provide free shipping of your new CGM, and we'll bill your insurance company for you. If you use insulin daily, you might be eligible to get your own continuous glucose monitor. So call the US Med Diabetic Health Hotline to see if you qualify for a CGM at little to no out-of-pocket cost.
How would you like to go on a 5-star vacation for just $99? We're talking about the quality of a Westgate resort for $99. Not for one night, but for 3 fantastic nights at one of their luxurious destinations across the United States. And you'll even get a free $100 Visa gift card just for making a reservation. We've got some of the choicest destinations that you'll love in the United States that you can choose from for just $99 for a 3-night stay. Take your family, take a special loved one, but get away. Go on vacation with Westgate Resorts. Call now to make a reservation for just $99, and you get a free $100 Visa gift card. Call Westgate right now and book your vacation. Here's the number:
Call 877-930-3491. That's 877-930-3491. Again, 877-930-3491.
Welcome back to Biz Talks. My name is Rick Gutierrez, and I am your host and your business advocate. Just a little while ago, we were talking to John Mitchell with Cantrell & Cantrell, tax attorney, and now we've got another expert, and we're going to be talking about something that relates to taxes, but more on the front end of taxes. And we've got an amazing expert that knows everything about bookkeeping, and that is Miss Nora. Welcome back to the show.
Hi, Rick. Thank you so much for having me.
It's my pleasure. It's always a great time when you are on the show because we get to learn so much from you and all of our audience as well. And so we just want to continue that conversation because of your extended, experience within the bookkeeping world. You help lots of nonprofits, but as well as, for-profit businesses. So what do you say we get started in this conversation?
Yep, let's go.
All right, fantastic. So there's been lots of uncertainties in the economic world, and you as an expert in the financial world, what financial strategies do you recommend for nonprofit organizations so that they can ensure and they can remain resilient and continue to thrive despite the potential funding challenges?
The first thing for nonprofits to change their mindsets, because their business is actually recession proof, everything proof. Like there is nothing can affect a nonprofit financials if it's established correctly, if the mindset of the people who running the nonprofit is in the right mindset. If they know that nothing is going to affect them. So first of all, I would say never rely on one funder. So a lot of organizations start their organization because they know there is funding over there for circumstances they have, for the cause or for their mission. So they start the organization. It's kind of easy to get the funding when there's a lot of funding, but they rely on those funders. Now, this is occasional because if something is a hot topic, now there are financials for that. There are funding for that. But if it goes off topic and it's not hot anymore, there's less funding for it. So the resort for all nonprofits is to really find their ideal donors. That's the number one. That's their cash flow. And then, of course, maintain their bookkeeping, maintain their budget, make sure they have all the financials in order. So I really recommend that they get into that spot where they can offer, where they can afford to hire a fractional CFO, which we do have in Nora's books if anyone interested into getting into this service with us. But the first thing to have is really finding their ideal donors, make sure they're doing the bookkeeping because this is a compliance work, and that's what can guarantee them as recession proof no matter what.
Absolutely. And I think one of those things that you mentioned that at the very beginning you mentioned it's a mindset that we need to take, and take serious because if we don't have the right mindset, I mean, any business could, end up failing. But a nonprofit, not just because they're nonprofit means that they're not a business. They are a business and they need to conduct as such, right? So thank you for elaborating on that. I know that over there at Nora's Books, you guys have integrated advanced technologies in your accounting services. Can you discuss a little bit on how the data analytics and AI are transforming the way that you provide insights to your clients?
So yeah, one thing I want to emphasize here is really any tool that we have, it's as good as the person behind it. So first step, we make sure here at Nora's Books, we hire and we work with great professionals. Like our team is really aligned with our value, like the service we want to provide for our clients. So we actually review our core value every single morning, every meeting we have to make sure like everything we do aligned with this value. any tool that we have in AI and programming and any software that we're using, we actually make sure we have it aligned with our value, not we aligned with them. So we don't rely 100% on technology, on AI. We actually make sure we utilize them into our like to be aligned with our value, to make sure they save us time, they save us save our clients money and time, and to make sure we actually get them the best results. But always there are people behind it. So because a lot of people think, okay, now we can do this without a professional, like whether if it's a lawyer or marketing expert or an accountant. No, you cannot, because you don't know the foundation. So you have to actually be able to understand and read data. Like if you want to go do your taxes on your own, you're gonna lose a lot of money. You're gonna probably mess up a lot of stuff because you don't understand tax language. Same thing with technology. If you do not understand the language of technology, how to use it to deliver a certain results, you're not going to be able to do it. So we make sure here, like we discuss, we have like our meetings still, we have our brainstorming to experts like in accounting field and CFO people level people to think and to actually make sure we apply all technologies based on the client needs, whether it's like a small business owner, nonprofit organization, no matter what level they are in, we want to make sure we actually utilizing the tools we have to meet their goals.
Absolutely, and one of the things that that you mentioned is the software is as good as the people behind it. I can't stress that enough because it's true. You can have an amazing software, but if the people running it are not really completely 100% trained on how to run and get the best benefit of that software, it's going to be a challenge, you know, for everyone. So I can honestly tell you that when I've had challenges, and I call the IT department, most of the times they tell me that there is a bad connection between the chair and the keyboard.
Mm-hmm.
What I mean is that's basically me, the one that I'm not knowing exactly what I'm doing. So it happens a lot, and it happens to a lot of us, but that is the reason why we hire experts like Nora to help us out. So Nora, you've got an extensive experience in developing and implementing managerial financial strategies for both the corporate and the nonprofit sectors. Can you share a recent example where a strategic financial plan you developed led to a significant growth or stability for that client?
Sure. So a recent thing, like actually one of my clients almost closed her business last year because she had some circumstances. She kind of abandoned her business like for 6 months. So when she came back, she was almost like giving up, almost closing her business. And she has been a client, so we were like, okay, hold on. Let's look into things. We can help you. She was just like a bookkeeping client. We did not help her in the CFO service before. But I told her, okay, let's hold off on this. Let's just like take it on another level and let's strategize for this and see if it's possible to continue. And we developed a plan. We worked hand on hand with the client with this plan. And she started the year 2024 with already a contract for 50K before she started the year to implement throughout the year. And now she's in progress, like getting more clients and increasing her funding, or not funding because she's not a nonprofit. So her business survived. She did great because no matter what we do, no matter how good the strategy we implement or we put in place, if the client does not actually implement the strategy, if they do not work with us in order to implement the strategy and make sure everything happens, we're not going to be able to help them. So she did great, and now she has a thriving business. She's actually surviving and thriving, and I'm sure she's going to end the year with at least six-figure, keeping in mind she was in loss and almost closing her business last year.
Yeah, and that happens quite often, right? We hear story after story about that happening, but the good thing about your client that you just showcased is that what we talked about earlier, the mindset. she had the right mindset to want to succeed, to want to do things right, and hire the right people that are going to basically show her the way and, you know, walk with her along the way and put in some processes and systems to help her thrive. And so that's amazing that you guys do that. Is that something that you see often out there in the world where a business is about to close, or is that, you know, far in between?
So the challenge, you know, like the statistic where the businesses do not surpass 5 years because of the cash flow. So this is very common. A lot of people close in the year one. A lot of them close year 2, 3, 4, 5, like rarely they pass that, just because of the mindset and a lot of challenges, like for business owners, mainly with the cash flow. That's why actually we started a cash flow mastermind for business owners. We're gonna have this coming on actually this Thursday, which is going to be I think the 20th. We will have a cash flow masterclass coming up, and because this is very common, a lot of people are near to give up, but if they just like give up and okay, I don't want to do it anymore, well, it's gone. But if they want to succeed, we have the tools in place to help them succeed. I had started this actually masterclass just to help business owners breathe things before it comes, because it's a lot of challenge. It's a challenge to start a business. A lot of people tell you, okay, you have to start a business, you be your own boss, you will do great, you don't leave your 9 to 5. They don't know they're gonna leave their 9 to 5 to 9 to 9 or maybe more, just because this is what's required from the business owner in the beginning. Until you set a business, a system in place, until you hire the right people and put it in autopilot, you're gonna need to work a lot and learn from the best, from people who did this before you did, so you can actually succeed. So that's why we have this master class actually coming up on the 20th of June for business owners who want to succeed.
Awesome. Well, that's fantastic. Thank you for sharing that. And I think it's a fantastic thing. I think it's just, you know, having the right mindset and being open to growth. And that's the reason why Nora puts on these master classes, so that people can come in here, business owners, you know, expand their knowledge a little bit more and be successful. Nora, it's always a blast to have you on the show. Thank you so much for being here this week.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm happy to be here with you.
Likewise. All right, folks, that's it for that segment. We're going to be right back with another expert. Stay right there. We'll be right back.
Do you have diabetes? If you have insurance, you may qualify for a new continuous glucose monitor. With a CGM, you can continuously track your levels and trends, spend more time in range, significantly lower your A1C, and share important data with loved ones and caregivers. Most importantly, a CGM eliminates the one thing most people with diabetes hate: painful finger sticks. Take charge of your health. Order your new continuous glucose monitor today. If you use insulin and have seen your diabetes care provider within the last 6 months, you may qualify for a CGM today. We'll do all the insurance paperwork and deliver your new CGM at little or no out-of-pocket cost to you. Medicare and most insurances cover continuous glucose monitors, so don't wait. Have your insurance handy and call the CGM Health Hotline now.
If you're on supplemental oxygen, heavy and awkward tanks can be a burden. Now you can leave home and leave the tanks behind with Inogen, portable oxygen therapy that moves with you.
With my Inogen, now I'm able to do the things that I've always loved. I just press the button here, and there's my oxygen.
Inogen systems are so small and light, you're free to leave the house without the hassles of an oxygen tank.
I could play golf again. I could go grocery shopping. I'm free again.
With the Inogen, I can handle my own oxygen. I can carry my own oxygen. I go anywhere with this. Look how small it is.
And right now, you can try an Inogen portable oxygen system for 30 days risk-free. Call us right now. If you qualify, we'll send you an Inogen system to use for 30 days risk-free. Your insurance may even cover your new Inogen system.
If you're on oxygen, you need to be using an Inogen.
Call 800-367-1753. That's 800-367-1753.
Are you nearly maxed out on your credit cards? It doesn't matter if you're using your credit cards for fun or to survive. At the end of the month, your statements come in, and you can either pay them or you can't. If you can't, late fees and interest rates get tacked on. And now you're struggling just to make the minimum payment due. Do you feel trapped? Am I talking to you? Good, because I personally researched some companies that can help you. They may be able to reduce your credit card balances by 50% and stop the late fees. If you qualify, please call our special debt hotline number right now for a complimentary free 5-minute consultation. Deal with your credit card problem now before it gets much worse and put more money back in your pocket. Trust me, I've been there too. Call right now.
Call 855-993-2096 right now. That's 855-993-2096.
Hey folks, welcome back to Biz Talks. My name is Rick Gutierrez, your host and your business advocate. Thank you for being here this week. We've got an amazing business consultant that is going to talk about network marketing and all of the great things that go behind it, especially if you're a business owner, and the importance of network marketing. So welcome to the show, Mr. Ryan. Thank you for being here.
It's a pleasure to be here, Rick. Thank you for having me.
It's awesome to have you. I know that you came down from Kentucky, and hope your flight was great, but we're excited to have you here because this topic is something that I'm personally very passionate about. So let's talk about the power of networking and building relationships for the success of business, right? This is something that you guys have a lot of experience in, and something that you advise your customers, your clients to do, to go out and generate relationships.
Absolutely. We really try to foster this mindset of building these relationships. And one of the categories, we just call it third-party relationships. So in the accounting world, you can imagine we come across corporate accountants. We have to deal with people that are in insurance. And of course, you know, you have your brokers, your investors, your RIAs, all of your financial planning guys. And then you have just a lot of things that go on there. Everything from softwares to industry-based specific plans and tools. And we do our very best to stay strongly networked. One of the things that we call it is like when somebody comes on board as a client, I want to stay in my lane. I don't want to try to dabble into giving investment advice. One, that's unethical, and two, I'm not an expert. I know some things, but I'm not an expert. Here's the expert, and I can provide you somebody that can look at your situation, give you an analysis, as a favor to me, cost-free to you. I have an attorney that can say, hey, do you need a business contract? Well, here you go. This is the person for you. And what that does is we just call it our gut check program. If you become a client of mine, we have a handful of people in our relationships that can just gut check your situation, say, hey man, you've got a problem here, or hey, you're looking good, don't change a thing, or everything looks good, but you're overpaying. And then you can take that and you can make your best decisions as a favor to us. And without relationships, we would not have that entire offering for our clients.
Absolutely. So building those relationships is crucial to business. Getting out there and talking to people, networking, and getting your business talked about, because as we all know, it's not about who you know, it's about who knows you in order to drive business forward. Because if no one knows us, then we're not going to be selling anything. So when you have your clients and you advise them that they need to go and do networking, what type of tips are you providing them to have a better result? Because we know there's a lot of people that don't like networking, and perhaps they're introverts and they don't like to go to networking events. So what kind of tips are you advising folks to do?
That's great. So we advise them to do two types of networking. The first one is a third-party networking that we just talked about at the break, and of course I just mentioned. And then the other one is industry-specific networking. Go to a networking event that is not close to you. It's outside of your region or your territory, and go make friends. If you have opportunities for the peer group, the breakout sessions, the round tables, even if you're highly introverted, you can just sit there and listen and then collect business cards at the end of the round table. And a couple of reasons this is really important is because you can sit there and just shoot an email as soon as you get back to your hotel room, hey, it was great meeting you at the round table, the peer group, the cocktail hour, or whatever it is, and say, can we work together? Can I ask you a question? Or hey, you mentioned this and I may have a solution for you. And then when you go to these events, you're all in the same industry, it's a bunch of like-minded individuals. Those people are experiencing all the same pain points and struggles that you are. Somebody has a solution to your problem. and you probably have a solution to someone else's problem, and you're not going to be able to get over that hurdle possibly without going to one of these events.
You know, one of the things that I've told folks in the world of networking is we're all just people doing the exact same thing. Different industries, different products, different services, but we're essentially all doing the exact same thing, which is just drive business in order to put roof over our heads and put food on the table and take care of our families and do the thing, right? So when you look at it from that perspective and you go to a networking event, and those tips have helped me in the past to be able to have success in networking. And the other idea is you're going to run into people that you already know.
Right.
But the idea is not to run into people and stay with the people that you already know.
Correct.
The idea is to meet someone new and drive potentially some business, potentially extract a net new appointment for the following week, and that's when you can start having those actual conversations to help drive business, maybe sell a product, sell a service, and all those great things. So in the world of networking, there are so many different networking events out there, so many different things for your clients who are looking to expand and build those relationships, what I like to call to become an expert networker or an expert connector. What do you have to be in these networking events?
Probably the number one thing you have to be is attentive. You have to pay attention to what people are saying and doing. So if you just go in the room to say, hey, I'm going to try to find someone with the same problem as me, and you open your ear to that same person, you go stand beside them and listen to that conversation. This is a networking event. People are going to walk in and out of conversations, and you just listen to that problem and the other person's solution. Maybe you can offer your 2 cents during that conversation. So attentive is first. Responsive is second. The most successful networking people immediately follow up. Immediately follow up. And that's why my prior example was go back to your hotel room and shoot the email.
Sure.
The worst case scenario, when you get back on Monday morning, go lay out all your business cards on your desk and send an email. It can even be a template that you send to the same person, hey, great meeting you, yada, 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 let's connect, right? Go get the LinkedIn connection. Go get some website, following their YouTube channel, their Instagram page, and now you're going to start getting that information. But that follow-up is crucial.
Absolutely. One of the other things to be that I've found successful is to be authentic within networking. You cannot be the type of business professional to go in there with just only a personal agenda. You have to go in with an agenda that you are there to help as many people as possible and know that those people are there to help you as well.
Yep.
So being authentic from that angle, I think is crucial, and it's important in order for people to be able to see exactly who you are, showcase your personality, and be able to build authentic relationships with these folks, right? So how would you go about, let's say you've got a brand new business owner who is looking to start right and do things right from the get-go. They hire you guys before they even do anything to get them going in the right direction. Networking obviously is one of the things, right? But how would you get them to the right networking events? Do you guys have a preferred different events that you guys suggest some of these clients to go to, or do you guys tell them to just go out and network?
So what we do is I give them a specific item to do. So I'm really big into giving our clients homework assignments. I know it sounds terrible, but I tell them to go do something after they leave a meeting with me. Even though we did work in person, hey, you still got to go to these 2 or 3 things. And one of them is, hey, we've just assigned a budget, and part of the M is measured growth. So we have a training budget that we have planned for you. You have, let's say, $2,500. Go spend $1,500 of that, $2,000 of that, getting yourself to a networking event, and the other $500 can be spent on an online training or a certification. But go find an event in your industry first. That's what I recommend. In your industry first, if you can find it. So if there's some huge plumber convention, go to the plumber convention, right? If there's landscaping convention, go to the landscaping convention. The other thing that I would do is there are huge business leaders, entrepreneur events, associations where small and medium-sized and even these big boy businesses all get together for these events.
Sure.
Earmark one of those. If the budget's too big, put it down for next year. And guess what? I'm going to tell you to put it on your calendar and put the line item on your budget. And guess what? At our check-in meetings, I'm going to say, hey, did you book the hotel yet? Hey, did you register for that conference yet? And I'm going to give myself permission, and you're going to give me permission to annoy you a little bit about how well you're networking.
Sure. There are many of those events. I know here in Houston, every April there is a big construction expo where over 200 different construction companies are all in one expo. And if you're in that industry, it's an amazing expo to go to. You could potentially be in different industries, actually. You can be a printer, a signage guy, and you are going to get business from the construction companies just by attending those type of expos. But let's say industry-specific networking events. Are those highly recommended for business professionals?
Definitely. That kind of circling back around, if you're going to go maybe every other year, we try to do 2 conferences a year. That's just a goal for ours. We have one big one that we go to every year. It's very accountant-based. It's one of the software companies that we work. We go to that event every year. We send some of our staff members to it, and it's kind of an achievement award. And we spend a lot of money sending our people. They get all kinds of CPE credits. So that one is a must. And then the other one is some type of leadership networking, business networking, or maybe it's specific. Like we'll have some of our women employees go in and they get to go to a females in leadership networking conference, and that's specific to them as a little token to help build them up. So that's important that you do both, but I would start with industry specific, because if you're young and hungry, you have hurdles that you need to get over, and that's going to be the place you get over those specific hurdles first, and then broaden your horizons from there.
Yeah, there's even industry-specific networking events where you can become the expert in the room, right?
Correct.
And you have that exclusive marketing right. There is no competition. You may have 20, 30, 40 different business professionals, business owners in the room, and you're the only one in your industry. How crucial would something like that be for somebody that's starting their business and wanting to do things right?
Real world example. I had one FedEx contractor that was a client. I just happened to go to a FedEx conference convention with them to help them with something that they were doing. And while being there, I was literally the only accountant in a room with like 2,500 FedEx contractors. Well, I did not even try. I was trying to help my client out. I didn't even try, but I sold 30 clients, basically on accident, from going to that event and being the only accountant in the room.
It's an amazing thing to be the expert in the room, right?
It is, yeah.
Hey, Ryan, thank you so much for being on the show today. We definitely do appreciate you guys flying out from Kentucky and being here in Houston. We definitely have a great time, and this conversation could potentially go on forever because it's a great topic, and you know, this is something that we can continue to talk perhaps at another time. So thank you for being here. That's it for this show, folks. We definitely do appreciate you guys tuning in and being here with us. Until next time, take care of each other.
This has been a NowMedia Networks feature presentation. All rights reserved.
How would you like to go on a 5-star vacation for just $99? We're talking about the quality of a Westgate resort for $99. Not for one night, but for 3 fantastic nights at one of their luxurious destinations across the United States. And you'll even get a free $100 Visa gift card just for making a reservation. We've got some of the choicest destinations that you'll love in the United States that you can choose from for just $99 for a 3-night stay. Take your family, take a special loved one, but get away. Go on vacation with Westgate Resorts. Call now to make a reservation for just $99, and you get a free $100 Visa gift card. Call Westgate right now and book your vacation. Here's the number.
Call 877-930-3491. That's 877-930-3491. Again, 877-930-3491.
Do you have diabetes? If you have insurance, you may qualify for a new continuous glucose monitor. With a CGM, you can continuously track your levels and trends, spend more time in range, significantly lower your A1C, and share important data with loved ones and caregivers. Most importantly, a CGM eliminates the one thing most people with diabetes hate: painful finger sticks. Take charge of your health. Order your new continuous glucose monitor today. If you use insulin and have seen your diabetes care provider within the last 6 months, you may qualify for a CGM today. We'll do all the insurance paperwork and deliver your new CGM at little or no out-of-pocket cost to you. Medicare and most insurances cover continuous glucose monitors, so don't wait. Have your insurance handy and call the CGM Health Hotline now.